Hello, and welcome to Life's Beating Heart. My name is Matthew, and today I have for you a tarot card reading. I'm really excited because I went to the store today in Helsinki. I took the train to go all the way to this big city to buy a couple new decks, and I'm really excited to show them to you and try them out for the first time. This is the sunflower on the bottom of the deck. Ooh, happy. That's related to the sun card. Something really happy energy. Oh, I'm happy. Yeah, I'm happy right now to show you these decks. It's called, this is the This Might Help Oracle deck by Isabella Rotman. Isabella Rotman. This might help. So I'm going to try that with you today. I'm going to use this to clarify the cards in your reading here. So let's see. Just a quick disclaimer here that my readings are timeless and that please use your own discernment and intuition to know how to apply any of these messages, which messages are for you, which messages are not, how they apply to your own life. Okay. Take full responsibility for your own decisions. And otherwise, I am going to tune in with your angels and ancestors and spirit guides. What do they want to tell you right now? What is the message? This is an animal spirit oracle here. Okay, you have the camel. The camel. So this kind of talks to me about like your inner resources here. Your sort of stamina or drive, sort of your stamina or resources to sort of, endurance through circumstances with barren, nutrition. So this talks here in the book. I want to read to you. I like reading out loud from these books here about resourcefulness, being independent, and knowing yourself. So the camel can handle absolutely anything as it carries a wealth of nourishment within. Yeah, that's what I was saying. The wondrous creature is self-reliant and handles challenge with ease. Even in the face of excess heat, such as judgment or anger, the camel searches inside for the cool elixir of water to calm the situation. Right, so there's going to be some advice here that if you're taking a lot of heat from the outside, to stay cool within and kind of bring your coolness to temper the situation, right? The camel represents the ultimate form of bringing opposites into balance, fire and water. Ooh, the alchemy. Don't we love it? Bringing the fire and the water. And being responsible for one's own reactions. The camel is a wonderful traveler and is especially fond of trips to faraway lands. All right. Interesting. So I want to clarify this camel card here for you. First of all, with this new deck, I'm excited to use it. This is the first time I'm using it. Let's see. Clarify the camel card, please. Oops. That's too many. We can't take. Oh, okay. No. All right. Well, I guess I have to take them. Guess I do have to take them. I almost was going to put them back, but then it's like, I got to just trust it. I didn't want to take 3, but you got 3 of these. So I just didn't want to, oh man, I guess I should be excited. I get to show you 3 of my new cards instead of just 1. All right. So release my own expectations of how this should go. All right. Let's see, you have here, so I'm going to hold, okay, maybe, can I hold 3 at a time and show you? Not so easily. Thank you for being patient with me. I'm sorry. I kind of do have to hold the 3 though, to show you kind of what I'm seeing here. Hold on, hold on, hold on. This is kind of important that I managed it somehow. Oh. All right, I did it. So look here. You have the clouds, or the water lilies, the clouds, and the sunflower. All right? So you have the water lilies. Can I do this in a way that, yeah, I'll show you this closely. The water lilies, the clouds, and the sunflower. Now, what this is telling me, the water lilies is related with the Ace of Cups here. So this would be like a new opportunity in feelings, or a new opportunity. That's traditionally what the Ace of Cups means, but the water lilies kind of talks more about sort of the muck, or like, like a lotus, right? A lotus or a water lily. It's one of those flowers that grows out of the muck, out of the darkness, out of the shit, up through and into the light, and becomes this beautiful flower. So it talks about the transmutation of the sort of muck and the traumas of our past. So there's kind of a resourcefulness with the camel, with doing that, right? So it's sort of like that could have been like a journey for you here. But sort of how I'm seeing it, interestingly, you have on both sides, you have these beautiful flowers. You have the water lilies and the sunflower on either side, but they're being sort of obscured by the clouds. Isn't that interesting? So this is why I guess I did have to take these 3 cards, because it is kind of cool how they came together. Maybe it's easier to hold them if I hold. Struggling with my hands here. Physicality. Boy. Oh boy. All right. So if I hold it like this, maybe you can see what I'm seeing. So there's like these 2 beautiful flowers on either side. There's the water lilies and the sunflower. But it's like, especially on this side, it's like the clouds are kind of covering the sunflower. Do you see what I'm saying? So, and that's kind of what the clouds card talks about. And it's like when the sun, it's like this, the clear sky, um, the sun, light, all of that is still there behind the clouds, but from your perspective, the clouds are blocking it, so you can't see clearly the sun and the clear sky there, and the beauty of the sunlight and the sunflower energy. So we were talking about, the sunflower kind of just represents happiness, represents your joy. It's a sun card. There's a certain amount of like a bit about the sunflower, which also entails an optimistic attitude, which helps the sunflower to experience so much happiness, is because it's sort of kind of always looking for it as well, because the sunflower is like always turning to look towards the sun. It's always looking towards the positive. It's always seeing the silver lining in the clouds. So maybe there's something about this for you here. It's kind of the way through the struggle with the water lilies. Oh, this is such a beautiful metaphor. Wow. Oh, this is hitting me kind of deep, actually. Interesting. So you might be in the water lily struggle here still, because the water lily journey, the lotus journey, is through from the darkness, from the murk into the light. And that's kind of also what we're clarifying here, is the camel. So there's a journey that's like kind of a long journey through the desert that's being gone on through here. And you kind of have to depend on your inner resourcefulness. So it's not necessarily like an easy journey, right? Like the camel traversing over through, like across the desert kind of energy, or the water lilies, like the water lilies, growing from the muck, from the mud, from the nastiness down there at the bottom of the lake, right, up toward through the dark towards the surface. So there's something about like seeing through the clouds, or seeing through the darkness towards this glimmer of light, because that's the journey of the lotus. Oh, isn't that interesting? There's something like about a movement towards the sunlight, towards the sunflower, towards, yeah, interesting. It's sort of towards this enlightenment, actually, even. But it's like, there's something really important here about being able to see the light through the clouds, or see the little bit of silver lining through the clouds, or like, you know what I'm saying? Because a little bit of it is about perspective. The clouds also can represent confusion, doubts, or just unclarity about things, which is sometimes inherent to our lives. Also, with the camel here having this this moon here, there's something. It's being like the camel, and the camel card is also, the camel is looking like he's moving through the darkness here. There's like a black background, and there's this like crescent moon energy up in the corner. So it's kind of showing me that same thing about the camel moving on a journey through the darkness here in this context. Right. Wow, that's really beautiful here. So there's something promising about you moving towards the sunflower energy. I'm going to pull a couple more tarot cards here from a different deck to expand on this narrative here. So and get you some advice. So what advice do your spirit guides, angels, ancestors want to give you right now to help you to move through these clouds move through these clouds and towards the sun, towards the sunflower? What what's the advice for the viewer right now here? Woo! Okay, I just kind of fell out of the deck like a clump, but I had to take it earlier when 3 fell out, and now you got 4. They all fell out together, but again, this is a really heavy energy, whoever this is reading for. If you don't resonate with moving out of a very difficult, very heavy energy, then this reading might not be for you. However, if you do, then stick with me here, because there can be some powerful healing messages for you here. How can I hold this like a reasonable human being? All right. So you got 4 cards here: projections, understanding, isolation, and suppression. So there's 3 really kind of challenging energies here, but then there's this understanding in the middle here. And this understanding, there's like one like point of like liberation from like a bunch of really heavy energies going on here. So what I'm going to do, first of all, I'm going to show you each one of these 4 things going on here, and then we're going to pull clarifier cards for each one of these as well from this new deck and see what we get. All right, so first of all, we have this projections card. Now, this is 2 people just not seeing each other clearly. You know, they are talking past each other. They're really in their own emotions, or their own fantasies, or their own desires, or their own biases, or their own traumas, their own triggers, and they're just projecting some vision, some conceptualization they have of this other person onto them, and then vice versa. To be honest, like, it's kind of going both ways in this picture here. But anyway, there's an energy here of something not being seen clearly, or can be something of, especially in this context here, it's looking like really like somebody putting some really heavy energy onto you here. Because on the end card here, we have this like suppression, which is, there's a lot of like force and pressure being put on this person from outside forces here, from social pressures. This could be from a particular relationship, or just in general societal pressures, all the difficulties of that, and then things from your upbringing as well, but just all sorts of like kind of stressful energies of this card here, sort of all coming to a head here. And what it's like, and it's next to this isolation card, which is this heartbreak energy. So there's like a really kind of heavy, painful, traumatic sort of situation here. this could honestly even be for some of you like a situation of being in like an abusive relationship, an abusive dynamic. It's really got those kind of like those kind of markers going on here. So all my like empathy, all my sympathy and compassion to you if that's the case. But there's something here in the on here of this understanding card. There's of when you sort of realize when you realize a certain amount of the truth of the thing, I realize that you actually can free yourself, or that you are free to just fly away and leave from these kind of dynamics. That you can just be free to fly away, because the bars of the cage are a bit shadowy here. They're actually a bit of an illusion. They are projected by your own mind here, in the same sense as of these projections. Like maybe you felt a certain trappedness about your situation before, but you sort of have liberated from that yourself from that with the proper understanding here. As painful as that sort of was here, and now there's this sort of process going on with the camel, like we talked about in the beginning. There's like a healing process of like the water lily's journey of moving through from the muck. Because what you're doing here, like the process was also to like kind of let yourself free of all of this kind of energy here. Like, who wants to be stuck in this kind of situation forever, right? There's like a point where you kind of just have to, the thing has to just like break, and all of those binds, all you have to, because this is 10 of Wands, so all of that has to just drop away at a point, and that's kind of like, but the way you do that is by liberating yourself from the situation here entirely. And that's the kind of context we have here. So like must have been like a clean break here, and I'm sensing this is like kind of past energy, and you're kind of going on this camel journey now, like moving through this heart healing process with this three of this three of swords here. This is the Three of Swords. This is isolation. This is heartbreak. This is the wound, the kind of freezing and guarding of our heart that kind of comes from being hurt, and then also like the tears that come to like sort of melt that away here for ourselves. But yeah, there's something like again with the water lilies. This is that same energy of like moving through these like dark, murky, painful, like the muck, the traumas of your past here, and kind of transmuting that and growing this towards like a more bright and beautiful future for yourself here. And there's been like this camel, like it's like using your own inner resourcefulness to go on this journey and balancing the fire and the water along the way. So there's something really beautiful about that. That's the heart healing. That's the alchemy process that this channel is all about. This um, heart healing, and through the balancing of the fire and the water here. So I want to pull some more clarifying cards here for you. Let's see. Let's start with let's just do it, I guess, in order, left to right. So let's start with the projections. Let's clarify the projections card. Only one. I really don't want to take a whole lot. Just one each. Okay. Interesting. You got the potted plant. I actually do not remember which one that is. I want to look in this book. Still learning some of these here. So this is in the Pentacles? Potted plant. What's water? Okay. Parenting, nurturing, reflecting on childhood. Oh, this is the Six of Cups. Interesting. Okay. This is I'm still learning this deck. It's a very interesting deck, but I kind of want to tell you what the intention of the author here was about this, because it's quite good here. So the potted plant may fall on the card that needs you to protect and nurture it. Alternatively, it could fall on the card where the conditions of your childhood have affected your behavior and attitudes as an adult. Ah, right. Yes. So what that's calling into attention here is how your own childhood conditioning. Now, this is a really painful, difficult thing for us to address. Now, it's really easy to see and point the fingers of blame. Oh, they're projecting on me. Oh, look what they did. Look what they did to me. Look what they did to me. We all can see really easily when we're being projected on it because it just feels wrong. Well, hopefully you can see that, right? But you know what I'm saying? It's really easy to see when other people are wronging you or mislabeling or misseeing you, right? But is it so, like, sometimes though we also have our own biases, our own triggers that are going to color our perception to not necessarily see another person or another situation clearly. So the potted plant here is kind of drawing attention to how your own childhood um, woundings or your own childhood experiences here will shape then your the way the color, like, when they say like rose colored glasses, right? You may have, depending on your childhood, right? If you have, you you may have like shit colored glasses in regards to like certain types of things or relationships, right? um, I'm sorry. Excuse me for the, the metaphor, but uh, yeah. So, like, if that is the case, like, you have to, right, sort of be able to see that, or just see how like your own biases might be, and do the healing work there, right? Just even seeing it and acknowledging those things in yourself is going to go like quite a long way. I'm not saying go overboard with it, but just being able to acknowledge the fact that you yourself are also capable of making projections that aren't always necessarily going to be truthful, especially if they're coming from a place of your own childhood wounding. Okay, so that was that card. Now we're going to clarify the understanding here. Too many. One card, please. I'm not doing all that. Okay. Okay, I got one card face up and I got one card face down. I only wanted one. I want to show you the face up one. You have the restraints. Ooh, beautiful. This is exactly what I was talking about, you guys. Can you see how this lines up? Beautifully. Beautifully. The the bars on this cage are an illusion here, okay? It's kind of the same with these restraints. Well, they're not an illusion, though, are they? Maybe it's not such a beautiful metaphor. Hold on. Yeah. Okay, so this talks about something that's holding you back. And it's actually more about circumstantial things. All right, so, okay. Yeah, actually, what you may be telling me here, what this kind of is telling me here, is that you may have had like there's like a struggle to like get out of a certain type of situation. You may have felt like your hands were like bound or tied to get out of it. So it's like even when you had like the understanding, you might not have necessarily been able to like immediately like free yourself, or there might have been like circumstantial reasons that kept like felt you like kept tied in a way. Oh, well, that is a bit more nuanced if it is a little bit circumstantial. However, um, the mindset shift is still really important way of getting yourself out of an Eight of Swords situation. So it's one of those things where they're actually kind of, I still would maintain to you, if you are resisting me on this, that even your external circumstance situations like that seem to be like binding you in a way that's out of your control, can and should be shifted through mindset adjustments, okay? Because different way of seeing your situation may actually lead you to a path that liberates you from it. Yes. All right, I want to show you the other card we got here. Oh, the cold cliffs. Oh, now I'm almost eating it here because, all right, the cold cliffs talks about the harsh realities of a situation here. So there's something. Oh, all right. Well, um, so there's something really, yeah, all right. So there's something here about in the process of understanding how to free yourself. It's kind of like you had to you had to if this is in the past, or have to if this is for you upcoming in the future. The Cold Cliffs talks about facing the harsh reality of a situation. It's the Ace of Swords. So you're the Ace of Swords. Ooh, but that's actually really beautiful. It's like regular tarot. So this would be the Ace of Swords and the Eight of Swords, if I can pronunciate those clearly. Um, which would be actually really cool because you have your hands tied behind your back, but then you also have the sword, the ace, the single sword, which would be able to cut those things. So there's actually a kind of cool thing, a cool like metaphor here where you can liberate. So the harsh reality of the situation with the cold cliffs, it talks about like the situation doesn't care about your feelings. Sorry to say, but you just got to like face the harsh reality of it. It's like about facing the reality of the thing and making like logical decisions to like get yourself, through the out of the thing or through the thing. Um, do what you need to do. Like kind of you, if it's going to be cold and ruthless, you got to be cold and ruthless in a way. It's sort of like the Ace of Swords attitude here. And if that means like cut yourself out of the restraints and do that, but it's like, so there's something here about like by facing the real facts of your situation, what are the restraining factors, and like sort of taking a sort of cold sober approach from it, you actually can find the path, the understanding that the route of what you need to like liberate you, or you have done that in the past. Okay, cool. All right, I think I figured that out. So next, we have the isolation, the three of swords. Yes, isolation. Clarify that. Okay. You have interesting. The uncarved pentacle. Mm. So that's the Eight of Pentacles. The uncarved pentacle talks about the blank canvas upon which the worker begins their work. Um, so you have the heart healing card combined with clarified with the. So first of all, it's like about doing the work of healing your heart, which is how I would think just typically the Eight of Pentacles would mean to me here. Doing the work to like go on this journey, but then there's an interesting connotation here about it being the uncarved version. So that's kind of telling me like that this process is like your own, or this journey is your own. Oh, I was getting that song in my head now, like Unwritten. I remember, like, the future is like your future is unwritten. You know what I mean? Like the next pages are yours to write here. It's kind of like master your own destiny kind of energy here. But it's also talking about like in the process of like going to do your heart healing. Is it going to be a bit of like letting yourself fall into? Do you see how my energy kind of changed here? But I just kind of need to deliver a little more softly. But there's something here about like falling into your something about falling into like emptiness in the heart space or something. Because you see how it's like I really had to like shift that downshift my energy here. Get calm for a second. There's something here. Isolation and the uncarved pentacle. So this is about like feeling the pain, feeling the grief, feeling the heartbreak. But then there's like this blank pentacle, and it's kind of like Mm. There's something here about like just giving the heart time and space, but like actively. You know what I mean? Like at least at some point, if you haven't done it already, you haven't let yourself do that because like that might be kind of the key here to like move through these clouds energies for the clouds to start to disperse here. Interesting. Because I'm sensing like the way that the pentacle becomes carved is through these tears almost. Oh, that's kind of cool. Like, look at this. How this is. Look at this. How it is. I'm making myself up. The tears are like going well because of gravity, because of how it is, because of gravity. The tears are falling down towards this pentacle, and I'm imagining that when the tears like drip onto the pentacle, that's going to be like what carves it for you here. Oh, that's almost it's beautiful. Almost there's gonna be like also so much value kind of created from this like process of you processing your grief here, because that's kind of like what's on the other side of these clouds in the end is like the sunflower. So it's like the joy and the happiness. So there is like really a promising like bright horizon for you here. Um, it's almost gonna be like carved out through your grief, which is kind of like the grieving process, which is kind of like intense. All right, that's interesting. We're going to continue on. We have one more card here to clarify. With suppression. Clarify suppression, please. Okay. This is a heavy reading, guys. I love you, whoever you are. If you've been through something really traumatic and painful, I love you. It seems like there's something about it that's following you. The following eel. This is the Six of Swords, and it talks about like when you go through that mental healing process, you can go on the journey. You can go and like on the whole healing journey with this camel here. And you can already have some distance from it, maybe. Especially if it's, there's a reading where if I'm talking about something and you already have moved on from it, and the painful thing is in your past, and you're already in the healing process. Like there's something about it that still follows you. This follows the boat of the six, even when you're making your distance. This is about the part of the trauma or whatever that kind of follows you. And you got it clarifying the suppression here. So this is almost like straight up like can be for some of you. Like it doesn't have to be this extreme, but for some of you this can be to the level of like PTSD symptoms here. Like you know what I'm saying. This is like something though about this lingering or something about the way the situation has affected you is that keeping your energy sort of still suppressed. Like you're not fully yourself yet. You're not fully yourself yet. You're not fully able to unwind from this experience. Some part of it is still in your system and lingering and keeping you suppressed. Some part of it's following you. Um, yeah. Interesting with these clouds here. All right. I don't want to just leave it here, to be honest. Like I want to like I get it that okay, so the main piece of advice here was so far like the isolation, the uncarved pentacle, about the heart healing and the like allowing yourself to feel your feelings and the grief process and giving that some space here to happen. And then on the other hand, the facing of the harsh reality or the truth of the situation to gain some like understanding and liberation from it. But can I pull like one more little bit of cards here to ask the spirits for like a piece of like concrete advice about moving through these clouds here, because this is kind of what the situation was, but can we get some advice for you now in the present moment about like how to move forward here, and then that'll be the end of the reading. Okay. Some advice: how to move through this clouds here. Okay. How to move through the clouds. Bruh. No way. Okay, I got the six of swords again. The same card here. The burden. We're gonna get a different clarifier, but it's the same card. The six of swords, the burden. So there's something about like moving on, like letting the burden go. Something about like there's also clouds in this card, literally like clouds in the background of this card here. That's not an accident, not a coincidence. Surely just a coincidence. No. One more clarifier now for the burden. What is the advice for them to get through these clouds, to drop this burden here? What is the advice, please? Practical advice here for our viewers. Practical advice. No. Well, we got 3. Again. I'm gonna take them because I feel like you need it. I feel like you need it. Year 1. You've looked like if these cards are telling the truth, you've been through something really difficult, and you need someone to give you a hot drink. Hot drink. You need someone to take care of you here. So the burden. All right, so this is like, I guess, the advice here, because it was like, how do you drop all this like lingering stuff, all this like burden, this stuff that you're carrying with you almost on this journey? Like you may have moved on from something, but there's something about it that's still lingering on you, that's still suppressing your energy, it's still sort of clouding your happiness, clouding you, you're stealing your joy, robbing your joy, something kind of on your back, bothering you, intrusive thoughts, maybe something. All of that. So how do you drop that? Well, there's something here. First of all, there's 3 things here. You have the winged lion, you have the instrument, and you have the hot drink. So first of all, the instrument. Well, what do I do first of all? I want to do the hot drink first of all, because like this is like this is the 4 of Cups. All right. So this is in the 4 of Cups, it's like someone in an morose emotional state. You sort of but there's like a cup being like offered to them here. So this is like the accepting, something being offered to you, some offer of nurturing or love or caretaking here. And then because on the other hand, you also have this winged lion. So this would be the 2 of Cups, and the winged lion from the 2 of Cups kind of talks about the courage it takes to be vulnerable in love. So it's like in order to actually give and receive love, especially after you've been hurt before in the past, it takes courage. It takes courage. Like, let's be honest, it does. It takes courage. But there is something like really beautiful, some really positive healing energy for you here, especially after all this heaviness, because we wanted to get you to this sunflower energy where it's like happy and you can like just enjoy life again. So there's something here about like the hot drink. So there's something about like accepting, nurturing, and you can give that to yourself also first and foremost. Like, of course you should like give yourself that like kind of love and nurturing, and then but also like be like open and willing to receive it from others like as well, because you have to like be open as to that even in yourself. And then also the instrument. So this is like the ukulele. So this is like, I think, the Page of Cups. So this is, you got all cups entered. Wait, no, that's not the cup. This is wands, actually, I think. Wait, no, I want to check. Because that's the fire element, right? Yes, that is one. Okay, so the instrument brings some creative whimsy to the situation. How can you let go of pressure to do something well and simply enjoy and express yourself? Right. Okay. Yeah. So that's something about also, maybe the other piece of practical advice for you here could be like take up a hobby or just something fun or creative. Do something fun and creative, like playful and whimsical. Bring a little bit more play and whimsy into your energy here. Just get in touch with your childlike energy. Like, you know what I mean? Play, like make music, not for the sake of like making something like good, like singing, karaoke, like, not because you're like the world's best singer, but just because it's like, like, because you're having fun. Like, what I'm saying? It's like bringing in those kind of like positive, playful energies into your life here and being like willing to express yourself in those ways, like to become almost your own like ray of sunshine. Ooh, that's kind of beautiful. Like also like let yourself like lighten up a little bit and express yourself more freely so that you kind of become the sunlight that pierces through the clouds, like in a way almost. So if you could shine your light, um, yeah, well, the clouds anyway. Yeah, so I mean, I was going to say they're temporary, but at the same time, there's a really important thing about the mindset shift as well. And then, yeah, the vulnerability. So the number one kind of thing here, because we're talking, what is the advice here? So about like letting go of these burdens here. So we want to take it back to the thing. Remember, we have about the potted plant and the projections here. So there could be something about like because of things that have happened in your past or your traumas or something that that could make it hard for you to trust and be vulnerable in relationship, especially if you've been heartbroken, in somewhat recent times. And yeah, but there is something about like the courage to open up to love, and in whatever kind of form that's kind of coming in. It doesn't necessarily have to be a romantic partner. It's just sort of talking about like the courage to open yourself to connection, like human connection, right? Heartfelt, like true heartfelt connection here. Yeah, because that's kind of seeming like what kind of got damaged and suppressed here within you. But it's kind of like wanting to be like reached out and offered to you from some direction with this hot drink here. And it's just like you have to be willing to accept it. But there's something here about like lightening up your energy, getting into a little bit more playfulness, taking out a little bit of a hobby, right? Maybe because you see the kind of contrast here between this like burden, this kind of like heavy kind of like burden, like, the burden energy is kind of heavy and dark and gloomy here, in a way, compared to this instrument energy. It's bright and fun and playful here. So that's kind of what you want to move more towards, for sure. All right. That is all. I'm going to wrap this message up here. If this was helpful for you, interesting in some way, please click the like button. Comment down below if you have something to share. I love to read your comments. Subscribe if you are new. Welcome to my community. If you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. I love you. And until next time, for more words from the heart.